Good morning. This is 4th of April 2020, 19 days at home. And I thought I'd like to make a video about coronavirus number 3 because we have seen that 19 days animals are free. So this is an area of interest. Do we have to take away fences for the animals? At air, at sea, at land? It is an area of interest because, for example, in Finland, there are no fences for animals. You can walk from one house to another, and this is because people trust each other. Now, trust is an area of interest. We have to trust in the health of each other, staying at home, and in the future, having measures towards that risk prevention. Another area of interest is the health workers and the health of the health workers. Prevention in this area has not been worked efficiently worldwide. This is some kind of priority now. The health workers have families, they are humans, and they are doing their utmost to look after our health. Now, this is top priority for any public money nowadays. Please look after the health of your health workers. They are number one. They are providing everything, even some their lives. And this is something that it is not acceptable for humans. We have to stop this. Now, if you are a health worker also, you must realize that if you work in the public sector, in the future, you'll have to think about it twice. If you work in the private sector, probably they will give you better health prevention systems. And this is something that we in the private sector have asked many times, but that in the news that are controlled by the public money, which is completely illegal to do so, this is not the case. Not only in the health sector, we are analyzing also that in other sectors, like in the maritime sector or in the education sector, we are much more competitive, and we really have to look towards the health of our workers. This is a must in our system nowadays. Then now in this coronavirus, we have to start using the brain a little bit more because we are at home, we are out of our competitive areas, and therefore our tolerance towards competition, it is really getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Companies like ours that have been 100 years in the business have survived because in emergency situations, strategic areas like maritime transport, it is of huge interest. There is not enough toilet paper in many places, and ships do carry milk and carry all the strategical things that are required. So we have to start to work in the tax area. A 5% tax rate is enough for all the humans. How to get out of this coronavirus? Then in the future, with a 5% tax, we can get full employment in the world. Is that a nice area of interest? Can we start looking not only at problems, but can we provide solutions in this world? I believe it is something that we have to work the rights of the health and the safety and the also education. And the kids need to be educated anti-bullying when they are 6 years old. This Kiva Finnish program eradicates 90% of bullying with 6 years old. And this is an area that I believe is stupid, that I have to constantly teach people that I have read this booklet of 30 pages and it is so simple, full of photos. Kids smile. If a kid is not smiling, then please worry about it and say, hey, do you have a problem? this also is a video for you kids that are at home now, to thank you very much for not spreading the virus. I know it is very hard for you to understand that there is a lot of people that are old and, well, some not so old like me, but this virus does not really look at ages either. It really attacks everybody that could get very sick. So I thank you very much, kids, for staying at home. I really thank you very much for this. You can make the most to read. You can watch these kind of videos. You can train your brain. Your brain is acting, and there is plenty areas that you can learn mathematics, read about history, and provide ideas how this can be better in the future. We, the 50-year-olds, have some ideas, but I'm sure that you can do much better work than us. So it is great that you can write something in this video or provide any areas of advantages in the future. We would very much like this to be. Then we have to isolate ourselves for this time, and we have to calculate how much the politicians are employing at press conferences. We have to statistically multiply each time the Prime Minister uses the car with 7 or 15 security persons times 10 times per day. That is like 250 contacts times then all the ministries. All these contacts statistically have to be taken into account, because we have to look after the security and the safety of the humans. And also, you are a cost. We can eliminate this cost very transparently if we multiply by all the different governments and all the different parliaments and Congress and Senates. I mean, the democracy, it really is very interesting, but digital means can provide that we are very prepared in order to vote, like they do in Switzerland and in Finland and in many other countries. We can vote intelligently if we are trained of what we are voting, and we don't need to go in presence. And we can vote like today, 4th of April, or tomorrow, 5th of April again. It is no problem. We are ready to support the democracy, and this is, I believe, something that we must work. The tax rate is something that I constantly talk about. It's because it discriminates small and medium companies throughout the world. Now, the pharmacies, now the crew management companies like mine, now the basic digital companies and other critical areas like lawyers and are surviving in this. But we have restaurants, we have bars, we have a lot of education, physical education companies, and we have a lot of gyms, and small and medium companies do provide 90% of employment and are around 90% of the world businesses. This is something that we cannot any longer allow discrimination of taxes between small and medium companies, because everybody has the right to create a company, and everybody now after this coronavirus has the right to start a company and give jobs to others. This is what we do as small and medium companies, and we are a majority. So democratically, if we look at mathematics, we can really ask for these taxes of 5%, social security, income tax, profit tax, VAT, all the different council taxes that you can find about, all that can be 5%. I really explained before in the corporate social responsibility video how is it. I gave 2 different proofs of indicators that this is the case. Worldwide, we have to have this same equality. This is a basic human right to have a job and to be able to be a business and person and start with this. I believe that all the, say, defenders of rights have to look towards this, and the first ones are the judges. Judges, if you are staying at home and you're listening to this video, please do help the world have the same right for small and medium businesses. They are the ones, the cells, these positive cells provide 90% employment. And these are the ones that after the coronavirus will start slowly in every place, every street, every house. This is how it works. You have to also help now, today, working Saturday, 4th of April, to simplify all the paperwork that these small and medium companies have to do. It's not possible to have 5 institutions cutting each process in 5 and then dividing 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, total 100. Yes, but if there's not a straight link between process A, B, C of the council, of the government, of the central government, of the European Union, of the province, then this is total 5. So it is becoming very complicated. I believe that International Maritime Organization, International Labour Organization have to help in this respect. United Nations also has to look at what is the solution for the small and medium companies worldwide. Very low tax rate, 5%, because that's enough to pay for the health, for the safety, and for the education. And in digital health, safety, education, we can look after each other and we can train better each other. We can use this kind of digital means transparently, free, to provide society how we can help in this crisis to get out of it. And I see that is the only way to reduce the taxes to 5% and then also to simplify 90% all the processes. I remember about 15 years ago, European Union, after the Prestige oil disaster in Galicia, then they promoted a Finnish minister for safety, European safety at sea, and they asked her, "What are you going to do now?" And she said, "The first thing I'm going to do is to eliminate 90% of bureaucracy and laws and regulations. We cannot identify a risk like we have to take this ship to shore and we have to eliminate the risk of pollution. Then same thing happens in the prevention of all the different areas, like for example, health. We could have stopped this at the beginning. We could have been very well digitally informed in our health throughout the world. Now we can do these things by eliminating 90% of bureaucracy. Small and medium companies need to cut this out. For example, in education, kids need to be trained at home, and we can eliminate 90% of the process and bureaucracy. Every time they sit to do an exam, they can do the exam from home. Every time they have to study and make some work, they can do that from home. And every time they have to use the brain, I believe is what it's going to be trained. Can they do that from home? I believe yes, they can do that from home. Can you measure from your home if this kid has trained? Well, imagine today after watching this video, someone asks an interesting question. That is because they use the brain. It's very simple. If they did not use the brain, it's because they really understood everything or they paid no interest at all. It's very simple. It is not complicated. So we have to look at also the retired people in this world. These are the ones that have the most risk. We have to isolate them, but also perhaps they have a say about what is going on because they are the ones that are paying the higher price in this coronavirus situation. Video free. Yes, you are paying the highest price. If I was 80 my rate of survival with this virus would be 30%. So would I have a say? I think you have to get united now at home. I know that you're not so used to these digital means, but slowly we are getting older, so we will have more access to this. I believe that the retired people have to get more united, asking what really health and systems they want in place. I believe that now is not the time to meet in person. I believe it's time to organize themselves in a digital way. I would really much love to see, I have not seen this lately in the last 3 weeks from home, how these third age young guys with very bright brains that have left this to us. And we are so appreciative to this, because we one day will have to live some better world, and this is the areas of interest and that we have to all work. And if you like this video, you can say comments or simply just stay at home. Thank you.